Hi, everyone, and welcome to One Mic Night, the podcast that brings you stories of artists and people on their journey, helping to guide, answer questions, and motivate you in life and the business. You already know who I am. It's Marcos Luis, and I'm back. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Season 5. Hold on to your seat, because my guest today is all that. She is a singer. She is a recording artist. She's an educator, and she's a music director. Today, we're giving the microphone to Jeannine Otis. Welcome to One Mic Night.
Hi, Marcus. Yeah.
Thank you for joining me here. Listen, I have questions.
Okay.
The first question is, who is Jeannine Otis?
Well, from what you said, it's like, do I ever sleep?
Pretty much.
That's a good question. I am someone that thinks art is important and a tool for connecting the community, different communities, and it's also something to have fun with. But primarily, I think art is really the connector. And you know, in some folklore, they say when you sing, you pray twice. When you dance, when you art, it all connects us, and that's why I'm so involved in it.
I like that. I like that. Mm-hmm. I wanna back it up just a little bit. Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Well, that's interesting. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
My mother's family, on my mother's side, came from the South, but also my grandfather came from the North. He was Jamaican. My grandmother was from the South, mixed with American Indian. So, and then my dad's people were Creoles from New Orleans. So there's a lot of, I think, a sense of folklore in my family, a real sense of history. My mother, you know, that thing in Roots where people, my mother did that just about every 3 weeks, maybe a month. Remember where you came from. Remember your grandmother and your grandfather were, and this and that. You didn't come from slaves. Remember this, remember that. And, when you're a kid, you go, oh, please. But then when you get older and you really reflect on all that, and you reflect on the kind of especially from my mother, the kind of inspiration and sense of going out in the world and doing your best, it really does have quite an impact.
Absolutely. What does that mean to you now? Like you said, as a child, you hear it over and over again.
Yeah,
You don't really understand it, but as you're an adult and you start to come into your own, what does that mean to you, and how is that manifested in your life?
Well, she meant the world to me. I have had a cousin who's deceased, Elaine, who was very much in the same vibe, and my cousins Bruce and Thedia, very supportive, and the Otis family too. My mother's family were the Houstons, my dad's were the Otises. But yeah, it means a lot, and I think I draw on her sense of just moving forward no matter what. My mother passed away quite a while now ago, but just before she passed away, she was a manager. She was actually the third person in charge of housing in Detroit. So she had quite a position. But she sent me a memo, and I keep it on my refrigerator. It says, it has to do with faith. And it talks about, even in the darkest times, just sit and wait for the light or the path to reveal itself.
Yes.
And I keep that on my refrigerator.
How true is that? How
Yeah.
true is that?
It's a quote from a poem,
Mm-hmm.
but it talks about, if you don't see, you know, if you don't see it right in front of you, just sit there or keep moving, and it'll come to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Was music a part of your life? I know you're rich in folklore and that's storytelling. So was music a part of your life when you were younger?
Well, it was. I mean, I started I guess I was going to music choir rehearsals when I was in my mother's womb, because she was an accountant and manager. But she was also, I don't think she slept either. She was also choir director. And so she, she was doing that while she was pregnant. And so I was my mother's assistant. And by the time I was 4 or 5 years old, I was going to all the rehearsals. And by the time I was 10 years old, I had a job as an accompanist.
Oh, wow.
The piano, yeah. So I've been working since I was 10 years old, literally. And not just like, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. I was really like accompanying groups. And
Well, were you having formal training too, or were you sort of,
yes,
it's kind of learning as you go?
my mother again made sure that I went to the Detroit Institute of Arts. So I had piano lessons, dance lessons uh, when I was 7. And I had a teacher from Poland, and, like, an old fashioned classical strict teacher that, made sure you were holding your hands the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And we went through some real standard classical repertoire. And yeah, that was my childhood.
This is great. I love this because for a couple of reasons. So we know Detroit obviously as the Motor City. We know,
Yeah,
that Motown came out of there.
right.
How was it for you to be being classically trained in that time period where, a lot of us weren't,
Well,
going down that road?
my mother was very eclectic,
Hmm.
and one of her good colleagues at work was actually an investor in Motown.
Mm.
As a child, I got all those little records that were getting ready to come out before they did. So, and I remember I went to the Motown review at the Fox Theater,
Oh,
and I
wow.
saw all those people. And my I just my mother was just very eclectic. I have my cousin Elaine was married to a very celebrated jazz artist, Thad Jones, who was brothers Elvin Jones and Hank
Hmm.
Jones. So somehow my mother always got tickets to jazz concerts. So early on, I saw Nina Simone on
Mm.
stage. I saw Dee Dee Bridgewater on stage. I I actually saw Leontine Price in a special rehearsal because my mother was connected to the Detroit Symphony. So and she did these because that's kind of what I'm doing at St. Mark's now. But she would bring diverse communities together to sing together,
Mm.
and she helped put together Beethoven's Ninth, and people came all from so many different backgrounds to sing that. And she had I do this at St. Mark's too now. She had a concert series, so she had amazing people come through her concert series.
And I can only imagine you were eyes wide open, just
Yep. Oh,
absorbing
yeah, yeah,
everything,
yeah.
right?
And she was, yeah, this is Jeanine, and
Yeah.
I would listen, and yeah, yeah.
Where did you
Mahalia. She had all kinds of people come through Detroit.
So did you go to school for music as well?
No, I mean, I was in, well, that was another thing. My mother got me in this program that it went sort of through elementary, middle school, and high school. And, so it was a special program. So I was really exposed to a lot of good stuff. And then my mother, again, was like a cultural maven. So she had tickets to the opera, and I had a half brother and sister, but they were somewhere else. So she would bring other kids with us. So we go to the opera with 3 kids. You know, and we did everything. We went to the concerts, we went to the theater, and I was never alone. It was always like a group. And she was very
This
good.
is, see, this is amazing to me because, you know, if you don't grow up in some place like New York City,
Hmm.
being exposed to the arts to that degree is very rare for us.
Hmm.
So, how would you say that that sort of created who you are and what you do today?
Well, it just did. It did. Yeah. It, the people, the philosophy. I mean, like everybody else in my life, I've been through those ups and downs and challenges. But yeah,
Did you
it
know that music and was what you wanted to do all your life, or
absolutely using music as a tool, however. Um, and so almost like music therapy was something I wanted to do since I was in high school, and performing, doing well in that way. But I thought it was very important to use music, art, visual art, theater to bring communities together. It just was always in me. It's always been something I wanted to do.
and you're doing it? You keep talking about St. Mark's. Tell us a little bit about what you do at St. Mark's. You're the
I'm
music
the
director?
music director and kind of outreach. I do outreach through the arts there. And I've been there for a long time. I have a concert series, and many events. This Good Friday Blues that Brockton has been a part of for the whole time.
What is Friday Blues and what are your concert series consist of?
Well, the Good Friday Blues collaboration started as a collaboration with
Mhm.
myself and the bishop uh, of the Episcopal Church, one of the bishops, Kathy Roscom. She's retired now, although she's doing work in France as we speak, as a priest. But we wanted to create a liturgy that spoke to the community, spoke to the issues of Good Friday that come up, betrayal, conviction, execution, death, and how we can take all that and turn it around to something positive. The
I
idea,
like that. I really like that.
because it's part of life.
Hmm.
But so then how do you take something that happens in your life and turn it around? I mean, really turn it around in a way that inspires you and other people, and that is authentic. You know, Authentic is important when we're going through challenges, because it, it's not for us to think because we're afraid or because we hesitate or because we meet challenges and we don't meet them, we fall, whatever by the wayside we pick ourselves up, that there's something wrong with that.
Right.
It's part of being human. We're human.
Absolutely.
And I think church needs to, and it does a lot. I'm not criticizing, but for me, church needs to always address that part and allow us to be human, and then still inspire us. That's
Yes, absolutely. And that's the history of our churches too. It's always been one that galvanized us in
yeah,
different ways, whether it's civil rights,
yeah.
whether it's voting, whether it's anything.
Well, my mother marched with Dr. King.
Oh, she did?
Yep. Oh, she did. Yes,
Wow.
she did. Yeah. So that is a part of my life, and you know, yeah, yep.
So you've done some exceptional work on your own just as a performer, as a singer. Tell
Mhm.
us a little bit about that. I know you have done some stuff like Porgy and Bess, The
Yep,
Cradle Will Rock.
yep. I toured with my partner Larry Marshall. Is some people think of him as sort of the quintessential sport in life. Because honestly, even though my mother loved Porgy and Bess, I think before I really embraced it, I used to think, oh, that needs to be something in our, in our history.
Yes.
Because of Larry and because of being in it, and because of, learning more about the culture in that area and that part of our history, uh, I, I really enjoyed it, and
I like that. What did it bring for you, bring out for you?
well, you know, I think for us to move forward, we have to embrace the whole of our history. We can't dismiss parts and say, oh, well, those people were coons or those people were this. Because, I mean, maybe that's a case, depending on how you evaluate it. But people were surviving. People, and Porgy and Bess is a beautiful story. It really is.
Yeah.
Even though it's very
It's
sad.
sad. Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
yeah,
that's I think that's what we have to do is exactly what you said. It's our history. We
yeah,
have to look at it and embrace it for
yeah,
what it is. It's part of what we've done, where we are. I mean, where we were. And so what we have to do is then look to the future. Where are we going? Are
yeah.
we going as a people? Are we united? How do we change the narrative of what
Change
we're
the
doing?
narrative.
You
That's
know?
right. But you
But
have
we
to,
yeah, you certainly
yeah,
can't
well,
dismiss it.
right, right, right.
I want to equivocate it to even something like in modern time to The Color Purple. A lot
Yes,
of people didn't want to, that guys don't want to go see that because it says something bad about our culture. It's part of who we are. You know, it's a story that's written.
and the color purple is a good one because um, I think Alice Walker embraces the idea of forgiveness. To
Yes,
me, that's what the color purple
right.
embraces
Absolutely.
forgiveness and and real love of self, the journey through self. The journey from oneself to the heightened self to whatever. It's
Right. Embracing fear,
yes,
and being able to move forward
yep,
and hoping that you connect somewhere in the future with part of who you are.
yep,
In the physical sense, the kids come back maybe in the movie and they see the mother, but connecting with who you are in the future at some point,
and
it's a beauty.
yeah, the whole idea of colorism, all of that, and how we are left with remnants of colonialism in
Yes,
our interactive lives,
right.
and and so if we don't look at it and call it what it is, and then move forward, we're just we're gonna repeat. I mean,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
We have to make a change.
Yep.
And this all goes back to you because this is kind of why I wanted you on the show, because you've sort of done a thing. I'm going to call it a thing for a moment,
Okay.
where you have a purpose, and in the midst of it, you may not know exactly what you're doing and what an
Well, that's an
impact you
amen.
have, and what an impact you actually have on the people around you. So I wanted to have you on the show to celebrate you for that.
Oh, you're
So
very.
I'm going to take a moment here and I'm going to read because I want everyone to understand some of the things that you've done. I've got a little list here. So
Oh
everybody
my.
just hang on. Like some of the awards that you've won, because I feel like you should be recognized for your achievements. Give people the flowers while they're here. So just bear with me one second. We've got the technical part of this all happening right now. See if I can do this right. Um, so some of the awards Jeanine has won. 2007, the COAHSI Award. She's won the Rural and Migrant Ministries, the grievingcenter.org. She's a member of the Standing Commission of Music and Liturgy, National Episcopal Church, 2006 to 2012. She's a member of the Publishing Board, 2009, 2012. The 2011 William A. Morris Humanitarian Award from the NAACP for the work on documentary profiles and leadership, Staten Island, and social entrepreneurs. There's a bevy of other things here, and I want everybody, because I'm going to place the link in the notes of this episode, I want you to go in there and see some of the work that you've done.
Oh, thank you.
And we thank you. We
Oh,
thank you.
well, you're.
Where does the where does the humanitarian effort for you come from? Where does all that come from? Because a
Well,
lot of people talk about it, but there are very few people who actually do it. Where does
well,
that come
that
from for you?
project, that was identifying people on Staten Island who are social entrepreneurs. And, if you recall, that was around the Eric Garner, um, I don't know if that was exactly the year, but, Staten Island has a lot of, it can be a great place, but there's also, there can be,
There's a lot of dynamics going on there.
right, a lot of that relate to racial tension.
Yeah.
So my effort was, okay, let's identify some people who are really working to just highlight humanity. They were African American because that's what we were focusing on, and bringing people together of diverse ethnicities. And so I worked with a filmmaker, Willie Chu, and Robin, and the Staten Island Museum, this woman, Diane Matches. And it took about 6-8 months. We interviewed people, Councilwoman Debbie Rose, who was the first Black female councilwoman, and she ran 3 times before she was elected. Uh, to honor those people, Sajda Musawir, who's now deceased, who started the Universal Temple of the Arts with a group of people, but she was the leader in the middle of what could be considered one of the roughest parts of Staten Island, to provide arts, education, and just to provide safe space for young people, but actually not just young people, for adults to come. She had computer literacy courses, trips to the theater, clothing, food.
Yeah.
She found a way to provide ways to attain that, to have access to it for so many people.
And you're doing it with music as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is beautiful.
So those people were part of that.
Part of that.
Yeah, and they hadn't been really acknowledged. Had an intergenerational group. Had a filmmaker, Gerald, who does a lot of work in a global sense, and just a real a real group of real pioneers. And of course, that was kind of something that hadn't been done on Staten Island. Now they're doing it more, so it's good,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you were on the cutting edge and being part of the pioneers to do that, which is well needed.
Yeah.
You are a global citizen, sharing your music and your humanitarian efforts around the world. I know you've worked with a few international musicians
Well,
and sang in places. And what are some of those things
well,
mean to you?
I've done a lot of work in Finland. I've been in England a lot, and in Germany. In Finland, and we're still friends. I did a recording with the composer laureate of Finland, and the music was set to the lyrics that came from their the Finnish poet laureate, one of them, Aino Leino, and so that was all uncharted territory. I met him through college mate, and we worked on putting this recording together, Magic Song, which is still playing. In fact, Big Scar, the rapper, he sampled a musical pattern from Magic Song.
Isn't that beautiful? I love that. I love that.
I mean, he's passed on, but yeah, he did.
Yeah, when music, jazz and hip hop artists, or other genres of music can come together and appreciate and make a collection, combine those arts, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and we did the well-known Pory Festival, which now is, like they say, 150,000 people.
Wow.
We did it was a little bit less, but
what do you think when you look back on those things now?
Oh, I don't know. You just kind of go with, oh, you're excited about doing this project. Get on the plane and go. Do it. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So what do you have coming up now? What are you doing? You're the music director of St. Mark's. What should we look for?
Good Friday Blues is next
Good Friday Blues. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have all the info for that down in the notes.
Yeah.
And it's open to the public, and it's...
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
12 to 3, it features 3 amazing speakers. One is the Bishop of New York for the Episcopal Church. One is Nell Gibson, who is an activist, author, an amazing person. And then one is the woman who's the head of New York Theological Seminary.
Okay.
And then we have actors that are amazing of Broadway. Brockton, Larry, Amelia Anderson's our narrator. We have Grammy-winning musician Stanley Banks, who played with George Benson. Ayodele Makaru, who just finished working on Joey's Last Jam at the city.
Which was incredible.
Yeah. And Michelle de la Fave, who was she was a gold digger with Dean Martin, and it's just we have a very diverse group. Wonderful opera singers, Anthony Turner and Dorian Lake. Just an amazing group of people.
Well, don't exclude yourself because you are phenomenal. And thank you for all the work that you've done on the show. Tell everybody, is like, how can we get in touch with you? How can we know more about you?
Oh, well, just St. Mark's, go on their website. Yeah. Also, I'm going to mention Kim Kalesti because she's a composer who's worked a lot at St. Mark's, and just recently Audra McDonald added one of her songs to her concert repertoire.
Oh.
So, no, it's just good news,
a powerful
more
thing,
good news, and great people,
and a great way to galvanize and bring people together. Diversity.
Yeah. And we have a great new priest at St. Mark's, Anne Marie Whitaker, who's, very young, very enthusiastic. And I just, I think about it and I go, wow. This year, also, we've had quite a bit of death in our community. So this time we're honoring the people that have passed away, including Vinnie Burroughs. She won the Paul Robeson Award for Equity. Ernest Hood, Thomas Walker, Ralph Pointer, and like a host of people. So we will have their work and people paying tribute to them woven into the service.
Beautiful.
I call it a service event.
Okay, service event.
And people who are Blues Hall of Famers, Carlos Trapp, Joan Cadell, Scott Cadell.
They'll all be there.
Yep, they're all coming.
Oh, wow. This is exciting. Well, don't mind if I show up.
Oh, I hope you do. Yeah. And bring your mom.
I will. I'm going to go get her and bring her on down. Well, Jeanine, is there anything else you want us to know? Thank you so much for spending some time here with us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your interest and for your support and for what you're doing.
Well, thank you for what you're doing. That's why I brought you here. So everyone, please make sure you check the notes for the show. All the information will be down there. Go to St. Mark's. I'll be there. You can find Jeanine there. She'll be directing the music and bringing people together of all different cultures, diversity for a cause, galvanizing people in a positive way. Thank you, Jeannine Otis, for being here on One Mic Night. Everyone, make sure you give us a like down below. Share this episode. You can also go over to the store because the One Mic Night mugs are here. Jeanine will be getting one.
Oh, all right. I'll forward to that. Okay.
That's worth the ticket for being here, right? All right. You know where to find the show. It's One Mic Night, ONEMICNITE. Make sure you go to the Facebook page and join the community. And you can always slip into my DM, slide on in at Marcos Luis, MARCOS LUIS. We're on every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Join the live chat and talk about the episode. See you next time. Bye-bye.